It Takes Two is a truly remarkable landmark achievement in co-op gameplay and storytelling. It Takes Two requires multiplayer and has gamers play as Cody and May, an estranged couple considering divorce. When a magical spell transforms them into dolls, they must use their individual skills to navigate creative platforming levels to escape. Along the way, they attempt to mend their broken relationship along with the help of their daughter. It Takes Two hardly ever uses the same mechanic twice, making it an unpredictable and exciting adventure for friends and couples to enjoy together. It's a unique co-op game that deserves your time and attention. Hello and welcome to Game Rant. My name is Geoffrey. If you want more co-op goodness in your life after wrapping up It Takes Two, then be sure to check out the following 10 games. Let's dive in. Number 10, Human Fall Flat. This wacky and puzzle-filled cooperative romp sees players wobbling their way through a wide array of levels. The wonky, ragdoll-like physics create a hilarious gameplay loop that sees players attempting to pull levers, move objects, and more, all while struggling just to remain upright at times. Human Fall Flat has a lot of replayability thanks to its fun and hilarious, mayhem-infused gameplay, with costumes to unlock and multiple levels to explore. There are even hidden secrets to be found, and some of the puzzles are a blast to solve with friends. Just be prepared for plenty of LOL moments while playing this game. Number 9, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. One of the best titles on the Wii U, Retro Studios' project was eventually ported to the Switch, where it immediately established itself as one of that console's premium titles. Now, in the grand scheme of things, Tropical Freeze is a pretty relative safe bet and safe entry in the Donkey Kong Country canon, as the game doesn't deviate too significantly from the beaten path. That said, the platformer is about as polished as an experience as they come. The AAA Nintendo game can be played single player without any issue, and most people will undoubtedly have a blast going through the campaign's fantastic stages all on their own. With that being said, co-op is a great option, and a pretty darn polished one at that. While Donkey Kong is the primary playable character, players do eventually unlock Dixie, Diddy, and Cranky as support figures. All three of them have unique abilities that come in handy when traversing levels, and co-op allows a player to take charge of one of these characters. Their main function is to aid Donkey Kong, but they should still be kept busy through most of the game. Barrels of fun await you in this gem of a game. Number 8, KeyWe. A puzzle platformer that can be played solo but is really meant for co-op, KeyWe's charm goes beyond just a clever pun. Players are cast as Jeff and Deborah, two Kiwi birds operating a busy post office. In order to manage an avalanche of letters and responsibilities, Jeff and Deborah must efficiently split the workload to ensure they are covering all of their bases. Although not story-driven like It Takes Two, both games emphasize communication. In KeyWe's stages, players will be doing a lot of their own thing all on their own, as they also need to work independently to achieve most objectives. However, these actions need to be well coordinated in order to be successful for each puzzle stage. Number 7, Ib and Ob. A charming indie project with an intriguing hook, Ib and Ob casts two players as the titular blobs and demands they cooperate if they want to complete the campaign. The game's world is split in half, with the bottom portion having its gravity reversed. As a puzzle platformer, the game builds its challenges around this gravity mechanic, and it does some intriguing things with the concept. It Takes Two is purely a co-op experience, and the same can be said for Ib and Ob. While the latter does not have much of a story, it does deliver engaging and rewarding gameplay that necessitates communication between the participants. In the right setting, this game is a fun way to spend a few hours. And for a very similar experience to this one, also check out the highly overlooked indie co-op delight Putty Pals. Number 6, Cuphead. This 2D side-scrolling platformer has a unique style that borrows a lot from cartoons from the 1930s. Not just the style, but the whole Cuphead package is quite unique, from the boss battles to how the puzzles are performed. However, where Cuphead truly shines is that it's an extremely difficult game, and I do mean extremely difficult. When teaming up with another player via couch co-op or multiplayer, Cuphead gets even harder as the boss's health doubles and everything gets turned up to 11, maybe even 12 or 13. However, this shouldn't deter anyone from playing the game. In fact, it only inspires players to think quicker every time they screw up. Number 5, Guacamelee. Guacamelee, apart from being a really fun thing to say, is a 2D action platformer that is best played with another player or 3. It offers countless hours of fun and is very accessible because of how gradual its learning curve is. Also, having a non-linear gameplay style means players can revisit areas in Guacamelee to unlock secrets, much like a Metroidvania. Once players learn how to combo properly, Guacamelee's combat becomes incredibly fluid and impactful. What will pull most players in though the most, however, is the game's art, rich world, characters, and interesting boss battles, proving things that are just in AAA games can also be found in tons of indie games like Guacamelee. Plus, its sequel, aptly named Guacamelee 2, is also a real treat. Number 4. Rayman Legends. Playing Rayman Legends with a friend is the best way to enjoy it. A simple game to learn, Rayman Legends is all about maintaining the player's momentum and rhythm. The levels are designed to trip up players, so timing is literally everything. Rayman Legends gets more and more complex as it goes on, and levels gradually become more abstract, and even musically themed. So much so that players are unlikely to find the same style anywhere else. What is so cool about Rayman Legends is that, unlike other platformers, the world changes, offering more challenges and things to do as you progress. Number 3. Unravel 2. Unravel 2 is the sequel to Coldwood Interactive's highly acclaimed single-player platformer, Unravel. The premise is fairly simple. Two small dolls made of yarn who are connected to each other go off on an adventure. The yarn can be used to lasso and swing from trees, build bridges, and drag objects from one place to another, and just, cause some shenanigans with your other friend or family member. In Unravel 2, players can play alone and switch between the yarn dolls, but it's much more enjoyable to partner up with a friend. Unravel 2 depends on the collaborative aspect, and most puzzles require some teamwork. The game's levels are beautifully designed, and its soundtrack is amazing and emotional. Players who want to dive into another whimsical platformer with their friends after completing It Takes Two should definitely take a look at Unravel 2. Number 2. A Hat in Time. Released back in 2017, A Hat in Time instantly attracted praise for being a charming addition to the 3D platformer genre. These types of games might have been a dime a dozen in the early 2000s, but modern releases that gain mainstream attention are few and far between, especially ones that are not associated with established brands like Mario or Kirby. A Hat in Time defied all odds, showing that these projects can find an audience even when they are not backed by Nintendo. At launch, Gears for Breakfast's game did not include local co-op, but this was added later down the line, so it definitely counts here. Presented in split screen, two players can work through the campaign together, with each person receiving the same abilities, moveset, and responsibilities. As such, both parties are on equal footing, which makes for a balanced co-op experience. A Hat in Time also has an online multiplayer option, although this is not treated as co-op. Essentially, players share the same world while still going off on solo adventures. There is also the Vanessa's Curse DLC for those who want a PvP multiplayer option. Number 1. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Much of the charm in It Takes Two stems from its beautifully designed worlds and storybook-like visuals. Not only is the game a great way for two people to connect on an emotional level, but the lightheartedness of it all, both visually and from a gameplay perspective, makes it a wholesome experience that should be played by everyone. Thankfully, there are even more games out there that feature similar aesthetics. Case in point, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which oozes the same doll-like visuals as It Takes Two, and gives players even more imaginative worlds to platform their way through. The best part about the release is that it has received some multiplayer-friendly updates after its release. Crossplay and online cooperative modes will give players a chance to connect from all over the world, and up to 4 players can play at one time. It also features a well-made local co-op mode for those looking for a more personal couch-based experience. And there we have it, 10 of the very best co-op games to enjoy after completing It Takes Two, or simply for anyone just looking to dive into a solid co-op title with friends and family. Thanks so much for watching this video. Have a truly wonderful and happy day. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.